Am I wrong for accusing girlfriend for cheating on me? Found pregnancy test. Original post. So my girlfriend and I have been together for just under a year. We don't live together, we both work full-time, and we are exclusive as far as I'm aware. About 3 months ago, I noticed my girlfriend spending a lot of time on the phone with her friend Jessie. She says that Jessie is a good friend, and that's it. However, she often spends any time she can on the phone with him, even when she and I are out. Their conversations don't lead me to think anything, but about 1.5 months ago, my girlfriend said she was going to visit Jessie, who lives 2 states over. I couldn't go because I had to work. Of course, I told her that I wasn't comfortable with her visiting a male friend out of state, but she said that Jessie is just a friend. She would be staying at his place, but Jesse is also a single father of 2 young boys, so my girlfriend assured me nothing would happen. Despite me voicing my opinion, my girlfriend took the trip and shared her location to put my mind at ease. She returned a week later, and we moved on with life. However, about 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend asked me to go to our local Target to pick up an online order she had placed. She told me she ordered shampoo and a few hygiene items. I agreed and went to pick up her order. When I got to the customer service counter and gave them her name, they brought out a bag with a pregnancy test in it. Shocked and confused, I told them that this wasn't what she told me was in her order. I checked the name and phone number attached to the bag and found that it matched my girlfriend's number, so it couldn't have been another girl with the same name. They then brought out the bag with the items she had told me to get, and I left without asking more questions about the pregnancy test. Shocked and confused by this, because there was no real way I could have potentially impregnated her, we used protection. I later asked her why there was a pregnancy test at Target under her name. At first, she said she had no idea and didn't order a pregnancy test. I asked her to show me her Target app to prove it, and she said that it was probably her sister, since her sister uses her Target account to order things sometimes. She also claimed that women sometimes use pregnancy tests to regulate their PMS, or for other things besides determining if they're pregnant. I don't know much about how this works, but she assured me she wasn't pregnant and that the test wasn't a sign of her cheating when she was on the trip. The other night, we went out to dinner and she made it a point to prove that she isn't pregnant by ordering a few cocktails. Am I wrong for accusing my girlfriend of cheating on me while she was away? I'm so paranoid, but I also don't have real proof that she did. Edit. Needed to clarify the part about the pregnancy test. The pregnancy test was part of a separate online order. She asked me to pick up her online order at Target, which she said consisted of shampoo, deodorant, and some lotion. When I went to the counter and gave them her name, they brought out the bag with the pregnancy test. I said this wasn't what she told me was in her order, so they checked again and brought out a second bag with the right stuff, as previously mentioned. After checking the info on both bags, I confirmed that both orders were under her name/account, so I believe she secretly placed an online order for a pregnancy test and planned to get that later while asking me to get her shampoo. The pregnancy test was not in the same bag as the stuff she asked me to get. I never saw the pregnancy test after that, so I don't know if that truly was an order she made by mistake or if her sister used her Target account to order that for herself. However, I did bring up the fact that her sister lives about 20 minutes from her and has a Target much closer to her, so why would she place an order for a pregnancy test and have the pickup location further from her house, even if her local Target was out of stock? I find it hard to believe that her sister would order a pregnancy test under her account and pick it up near her house. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Sure, the pregnancy test could have been placed in her order by error, but then she'd have just shown you the app to prove she didn't order it, and wouldn't have blamed her sister. She also wouldn't have lied about women using pregnancy tests to regulate PMS. This is absolutely not the truth, and you should be insulted by this lie. The only thing pregnancy tests are used for is to determine if women are pregnant. That's it. She has changed the story like 5 times, and you want to believe her so much that you are starting to believe her. Her having cocktails proves nothing, except that the pregnancy test was negative. She went to stay with Jessie despite your reservations about it, lied about the pregnancy test, and is making you think you are paranoid for thinking she cheated, without protection, probably. Her having cocktails proves nothing except that the pregnancy test was negative. Or if it was positive, she plans to abort. The pregnancy test isn't a sign of her cheating, but her reasoning is. Pregnancy tests don't regulate anything. Her changing stories and excuses are all you need to hear to know she's hiding something from you. Also, it's probably her sister's, but if you don't buy that, she has a backup excuse for it. Now for the first update. So as an update, I realized that although my girlfriend and I have protected sex, the chances of me getting her pregnant are still possible. However, I strongly believe that despite our intimacy, I couldn't have possibly impregnated my girlfriend. Not to be disgusting and personal, but I never finish inside her because I want to reduce the chances of having kids until we're both ready. That's why when I saw the pregnancy test, I immediately thought she cheated on me. Anyway, I went into a panic last night after reading all the comments and freaked out. I went to her apartment while she was at work. She gave me a key and found her iPad. I tried using her birthday as the password, and to my amazement, it worked. I immediately went through her messages and found evidence that she, in fact, had sex with her friend Jessie. I'm honestly so devastated by this, and I've been such a nervous wreck since last night. I haven't eaten and I've barely slept. Yes, I know what I did. Secretly going through her iPad and messages was wrong, but I had to know if she was cheating on me, and if that pregnancy test she secretly ordered was because Jessie may have gotten her pregnant. Now I'm waiting to confront her, but I honestly don't know how. How do I tell my girlfriend that I know she cheated? Am I wrong for going through her iPad and messages? Part of me feels wrong for this, but you have no idea how much it hurts to know she did this. She was my first real girlfriend in a long time, and now I feel like an afterthought. Edit. As far as I know, she is not pregnant. She wanted to prove this by having a few cocktails when we went to dinner last week. There's no baby involved, thank God. I'd ghost her and give her no closure. Save all the evidence. This is the way. No contact for her and no closure. It's the most effective justice you can get. And no contact will be healing for you. Nothing she can say can excuse or explain what she did, so why give her the opportunity to try? Not wrong, the pregnancy test and her preposterous answers to your questions about it caused enough concern to do some digging. Just say to her, I know. Leave and block. Though sometimes I think it would be worth confronting but not admitting you know. Tell her the pregnancy test has convinced you she cheated and ask her to come clean. Then demand she show her phone. If she refuses, you can say she has proved you right and dump her. I know the cleanest is to drop off the key and ghost, but I hate that lets her off the hook from having to squirm a bit in front of the person she betrayed. Now for the final update. So last night, I told my girlfriend that I needed to talk to her. At first, she kept saying she was busy, but I insisted on seeing her in person, so she finally said to come to her place around 8 p.m. I went over and reiterated how, ever since she got back from her trip, things have felt weird. She claimed I'm the one who's making things weird by believing that she cheated on me. She continued to claim that the pregnancy test was not hers, and that her friend Jessie was just a friend and they just hung out. I then proceeded to tell her how I know she cheated, because I saw the thread in her messages. You came here without me knowing and went through my personal messages? That's so messed up and creepy, to be honest, she said. We got into a slight argument, as I told her that my suspicions were correct, and she was trying to deflect the conversation. I asked her to give me her phone so I could show her all the messages I saw, which were very clear and explicit. Of course she refused and said, "We are not married. We don't live together. You don't own or control me." While I agreed with her on that part, I decided to end things quickly. I simply put her copy of the keys on her coffee table and told her, "You cheated. Plain and simple. Goodbye and good luck." I walked out and she made no attempt to stop me. Later, she tried to text me and said that she was sorry for what she did. At first, she claimed that Jesse was an old boyfriend that she never told me about, and that they dated years ago before she met me, and that he moved away several years ago. She claimed that the messages I saw were old conversations they had, but I quickly told her that was obviously not true. She swore that she didn't mean to cheat, and that Jesse must have gotten her drunk and it led to sex. She assured me that she is not pregnant with anyone's baby. I told her, "That's good, because I don't want anything else tying me to you." I wished her good luck again and haven't heard from her since. Personally, I'm relieved, but I'm so upset and devastated by all this. I spoke with my friend Eric, who told me that he had an ex who cheated on him too, but she later tried to contact him years later when the dude she cheated with turned out to be a bum. Hoping I can move forward from this. Thank you all for your input. She dug herself a hole the second she tried to say she had a pregnancy test to regulate PMS. Cheaters always find these stupidest excuses. I mean, I've never cheated, but the obvious answer would be, my period's late and I didn't want to stress you out since we've been so careful and aren't ready for kids. But I was super anxious and couldn't think about anything else, so I thought I'd take it and just know. See? Easy. Glad she got caught though. He deserves honesty. The sister excuse was right there though. Like, I'm a girl. I've purchased a pregnancy test for a friend before. Most recently because her last 2 attempts had ended in early miscarriage, and her husband took it really badly. She wanted to spare him the heartache. He is now officially the world's most enthusiastic dad, by the way. So glad it's now an ex-girlfriend. She's a lying, cheating idiot. You went through my phone? Is pretty audacious when someone else went through her vagina. Cheaters sound so stupid saying this. You feel betrayed because I went through your phone when you shared your genitals with somebody else? OP should have just broken it off when he said he wasn't comfortable with her going, and she went. There are normal boundaries for a relationship, and she broke them then. I have tons of friends of the opposite sex, and if they tell me they are with someone so we have to do X like have our own hotel rooms or not stay at each other's houses, it's fine. That's normal. Also, she shared her location to make him feel better when she was already at the location that should make him worry. Where could she possibly have gone that would have concerned him when she's already at the house of a guy he was concerned she'd cheat with? I'm not sure if this lady is very dumb and thinks she's smart or just thinks OP was very dumb, but it's definitely one of the two. Maybe both. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé I don't want her to wear her late husband's wedding ring during our ceremony? I, 30 male, am engaged to Emily, 30 female, and we're getting married this fall. I love her deeply, and I've never been more sure about anything in my life. That said, there's one thing that's been eating at me, and I'm not sure if I'm being selfish or just honest. Emily was married once before, to a guy named Tyler. They got married young, early 20s, and he passed away in a car accident about 5 years ago. It was sudden and tragic, and from everything I've heard, they were truly in love. I met Emily 2 years after his death. At first, she was very open about it, and I respected that. I knew coming into this relationship that I wasn't her first great love, and I was okay with that. I still am mostly. Over the years, I've supported her through moments of grief, anniversaries, and random waves of sadness. She still visits his grave on his birthday, and she keeps a box of his things in our closet. I've never touched it. She's shown me a few pictures of them together, and I've listened to her talk about what kind of person he was. I've tried really hard to respect that part of her life while also building our own. Which brings me to now. A few weeks ago, Emily told me she plans to wear Tyler's wedding ring on a chain around her neck on our wedding day. She explained it as a quiet tribute, not something she wants to announce or make a big deal about, just something personal. She said she wouldn't be where she is now without having gone through that loss, and she feels like carrying that part of her story into this new chapter is meaningful. I didn't say much at the time because I didn't know how to respond, but the more I sat with it, the more it bothered me. So I finally told her how I felt. I said I want our wedding day to be a celebration of us, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea of her wearing another man's wedding ring, even if he's gone. I told her it makes me feel like I'm sharing the most important day of my life with someone who's not here. I said it makes me feel like second place. She got very quiet, then told me that she wasn't choosing him over me, and that she's allowed to honor her past while still moving forward. She said grief isn't a door you close. It just becomes part of who you are. I get that. I really do. But at the same time, I don't think I'm asking something outrageous by wanting this one day, our day, to be about the life we're building together, not the one she lost. Since then, there's been a weird tension between us. She hasn't brought it up again, but she hasn't said she's changed her mind either. I feel like the bad guy, like I'm trying to erase someone important to her. But I'm also struggling with the idea of standing at the altar and knowing she's literally carrying a symbol of her first marriage, as she says vows to start a new one with me. I've told no one in my life about this, not my friends, not my family, because I know how it might sound. But internally, it's tearing me up. I don't want to hurt her, and I definitely don't want to start a marriage with resentment or guilt. But am I wrong for what I said? I haven't asked her not to wear it explicitly yet, but I made it clear I'm not comfortable with it. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. This must be incredibly difficult for you. I understand her sentiment, but I also understand and feel for you. Throughout the post, I kept thinking about how you are going to be looking at your soon-to-be wife as you say your vows. And not only will you see her, you will also see that ring. I would strongly suggest couples counseling and having that unbiased third party help you both with this issue. If she wears the ring, you will be hurt. If she doesn't wear the ring, she will be hurt. This could cause resentment from the start. A therapist can help you figure out what is best for both of you to start and have a happy and fruitful marriage. Also, it doesn't sound like she has truly moved past her grief, so regardless, a therapist may be a good idea. Postpone the wedding for some heavy-duty couples counseling and uber heavy-duty grief counseling for her. For at least a year. She is not really to let go and move on. She may never be. I was widowed at 29 and remarried 6 years later. I can totally relate to your fiancé's rationale for this, and also understand your very normal feelings about it. That said, I think she's wrong. Your wedding is inherently, implicitly, and factually about your relationship together, and her late husband shouldn't be a part of it. There are lots of ways she can continue to honor and remember him the rest of her life. This is one day. My worry for you is that she's doing it as a sort of apology to him for moving on with you. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that either. I agree. It seems she wants to wear it because she feels guilty for moving on. I don't believe moving on is a thing. Moving forward, yes. Moving on, no. Thank you. I really appreciate this. I've been feeling like a bad person for even having these emotions, so it helps to hear that it's okay to feel conflicted. I do love Emily, more than I've ever loved anyone. And I want to be sensitive to everything she's been through. I'm not trying to erase Tyler or pretend he didn't matter. I just want to feel like I matter too, especially on a day that's supposed to mark the start of our life together. I'm hoping we can have another honest conversation about it soon.